Hello dear viewers and welcome to T-World. Kindly hit the subscribe button and we will be on our way. In today's news, 2020 saw 4 months of revolting, torching and killing, 35 dead. 1,500 police harmed, $2 b. Property harm. However, January 6th is in revolt. Opus Ed. As of late, Nina Jankovic had to leave her situation as executive director of the Biden system's Ministry of Truth. Jankovic has great capabilities for the post. She recently spread tales via web-based entertainment that President Donald Trump's allies would go furnished to the surveys in 2020. What's more, she was a significant power behind the now-ruined promulgation that Hunter Biden's PC was Russian disinformation, as indicated by the Washington Post. Jankovic turned into a casualty of an unrelenting blast of provocation from mean tweets, a prey of disinformation, while she is a selected employable whom the U.S. government, without precedent for the country's set of experiences, provided gigantic ability to observe reality from fiction. The entire motivation behind the system's Ministry of Truth is to organize with the traditional press to mark articulation contrary to the system as can't stand discourse and disinformation, so pundits prudently edit themselves and diminish their resistance. Individuals behind the system's Ministry of Truth were the very individuals that lied that Hillary Clinton never violated any regulations, and they likewise lied that President Barack Obama didn't place Donald Trump under reconnaissance and plant spies in the Trump Association during the 2016 mission. In 2017, when President Trump asserted that he had been wiretapped by his ancestor, President Obama, Democrats and their media poodles considered Trump jumpy. They hinted that nobody in the stand in Obama administration organization or the Hillary Clinton mission might have looked to screen Trump's correspondences, or might have had electronic admittance to such highly classified private interchanges. The very domain name system logs of up-and-comer and afterward President Trump, while Michael Sussman, working for Perkins Coie Law Office, and paid by the Democrat National Committee, as a front for official competitor Hillary Clinton, reached innovation specialists, who as workers for hire approached Trump's most classified and confidential correspondences. The specialists let Sussman know that a Russian bank, Alpha, had a back-channel line of direct interchanges with Trump. He then went to the FBI to prove to the media that his developments deserved government examination. As a matter of fact, the purchase specialists completely looked through Trump's confidential logs and came up just with a Russian bank probably sending one-way spam to a Trump server, a writ of a government investigator who had prosecuted Sussman for purportedly lying, uncovered these subtleties for the beyond 5 years or somewhere in the vicinity. The now extreme Democrat Party, the Hillary Clinton political machine, the established press, and Silicon Valley have made a wide range of connivances to obliterate moderates as a rule, and Donald Trump specifically. They charge connivance with respect to other people, which is basically their very own affirmation intrigues. Any individual who protested that Christopher Steele, the sectarian government operative, and his dossier were false, that Glenn Simpson's Fusion GPS was a paid resistance hit group, and their joint bring forth of Trump-Russia intrigue was a fantasy, was spread as a conspiracist. Extraordinary Counsel Robert Mueller's 22-month examination saw as nothing on Trump-Russia plot. Mueller in legislative declaration was either baffled or deceitful. He even asserted he remained unaware of Fusion GPS or the Steele dossier, the two impetuses for his own examination. In the interim, Steele has vouched for what Americans definitely knew. He has no notes or sources to validate his absurd document. One of his 2 Russian sources ended up being a left-wing minor specialist at the liberal Brookings Institution, Igor Danchenko, who was prosecuted for lying. The other is a previous Clinton-usable Charles Dolan, who presently concedes he has worked for the Russian government and its subsidiaries for a really long time. Hillary Clinton paid for Steele, a British government operative, to track down soil on her political rival, Trump. She concealed her checks by utilizing the Democratic National Committee, the Perkins Coie Law Office, and Fusion GPS. In this way, Hillary tried to cover Trump with a fake charge of Russian plot by conspiring herself with the Russians. The January 6, 2021 descent was buffoonish. Many nonconformists broke into the Capitol, vandalized it, and caused interruptions. Americans for the most part considered it to be a humiliation. Be that as it may, the left saw a scheme, so the left shouted about an uprising trying to a rebellion, and requested more than 20,000 fighters to forestall a second wave. Before long, disparities emerged in the left-wing account. 5 killed ended up being 1 individual killed, moderate dissident Ashley Babbitt, an unarmed military veteran mortally shot by a Capitol Police official with a checkered record, whose personality was strangely covered from general society for quite a long time. One passed on from a medication glut, and the other three kicked the bucket from normal causes, not long after Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick's passing. The Capitol Police and the Department of Justice lied that his demise was because of wounds from the mob. For quite a long time, the traditional press lied that Sicknick had passed on in the wake of being hit in the head with a fire dowser during the distress, whereas he passed on from normal causes the day after the descent. The District of Columbia boss clinical analyst characterized his demise as regular. In the meantime, the public authorities smothered correspondences concerning its arrangements for the exhibition and stifled very long time of recordings of the descent. Also, there was far and wide utilization of FBI witnesses among the nonconformists. Moreover, many Trump allies were captured on exaggerated accusations. A large number of them sat in isolation without charges petitioned for quite a long time. The greater part of individuals charged had no known association with extreme right or radical gatherings. January 6th was a crazy act exaggerated into a politically valuable rebellion. Matthew Rosenberg, a left-wing New York Times journalist, implied he both prepared public shock at the uproar and in confidential gloated on a secret mouthpiece to a female colleague that it was generally a terrible joke, a break-in by immediately revolting clowns. Rosenberg remarked against the idea that the mob was pre-planned and painstakingly coordinated. They were making too huge an arrangement. They were making this something coordinated that it wasn't. He further remarked on the presence of numerous FBI agents among the dissidents. There were a lot of FBI sources among individuals who went after the Capitol prior to January 6, 2021. There were a lot bigger and more deadly mobs on government property. In May 2020, fierce left-wing agitators went after the White House grounds. Overpowered Secret Service specialists appeared to be on occasion unfit to keep them from the White House itself. The Secret Service moved President Trump and his family to an underground shelter as a safeguard. The New York Times later boasted, "Trump shrivels back," promptly after the main fierce Washington revolt. Democrat bad habit official applicant Kamala Harris purportedly actuated proceeding with rough fights. "They won't stop. They won't ease up. What's more, they shouldn't, and we shouldn't." The 2020 summer revolting, pyro crime and killing went on for a long time, bringing about more than 35 dead, 1,500 cops harmed, 14,000 captures, and $2 billion in property harm. The assaults were frequently aimed at government structures, including town halls, be that as it may. There were no bureaucratic examinations to decide why government authorities allowed the annihilation. The explanation by far most of those captured were basically delivered, and the job of chosen authorities in empowering or affecting the savagery. The rough uproars closer at the White House finished bafflingly half a month prior to the 2020 political race. Most preservationists calculated that the political race was manipulated, as in the left before had transparently contrived to sue states to drop or change balloting regulations. They had tried to twist organizations to change conventions, to spend truckloads of cash on key regions to usurp crafted by recorders, and to progress the country to a 100 million early polling forms political race. Mark Zuckerberg alone poured almost $420 million in what the left used to call dim cash to adjust the very way Americans vote. The left cheered in their controlling the political decision. It was praised exhaustively in Molly Ball's scandalous Time magazine paper, The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election. Ball bragged about within story the intrigue to save the 2020 political decision. In light of admittance to the gathering's internal operations, never-before-seen reports, and meetings with many those included, the members need the mysterious history of the 2020 political decision told, despite the fact that it seems like a jumpy dream. A very much subsidized secrecy of influential individuals running across ventures and belief systems, cooperating in the background to impact discernments, change rules and regulations, steer media inclusion and control the progression of data. Their work contacted each part of the political decision. They got states to change casting a ballot frameworks and regulations and got many millions out in the open and confidential financing. They battled off elector concealment claims, enlisted multitudes of survey laborers, and got a huge number of individuals to cast a ballot via mail. Interestingly, for the most part without sufficient check, they effectively forced virtual entertainment organizations to take a harder line against disinformation, by which they amount to something favorable too.
If you made it to the end of the video, kindly hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. It helps the channel.